There is a form of energy that, when maximized in your being, will literally turn you into God. If you can build this energy up, everything will culminate into perfection for your existence. The goal of life and your spiritual journey will be met. You will slowly dissolve as you build this energy, as everything else dissolves into you. As this energy builds and you start to break the chain that binds you to duality, you will begin to attain supernatural abilities. Clairvoyance, ability to read people, floating through life with no mind and no friction, and only full presence that charges everyone's field who is lucky enough to be in your company. As this energy builds, so will your superpowers. This energy is called Ojas. If you have ever done Akhanda Brahmacharya or God mode for a sustained period, then you have experienced that which cannot be brought to words. It is like God slowly rips the old you out and takes the driver's seat as you enjoy life as it is with less and less friction as you go. You outperform everywhere in this world and love everyone and everything more and more with each and every day, with every cent of your being, yet somehow at the same time are living a carefree existence. This experience that you are having can be explained by Ojas. In Sanskrit, Ojas translates to vigor or vitality. In the context of spiritual and yogic practices, Ojas represents a subtle essence that arises from the cultivation of energy through disciplined living and inner transformation. Over the course of 12 years on Akhanda Brahmacharya, which is the active sublimation of all your sexual tendencies in word, thought, and deed, Ojas is believed to undergo a profound evolution. Initially, it manifests in the physical vitality of the body. However, as one progresses through the stages of Brahmacharya, Ojas transitions from a mere physical vitality to a refined spiritual energy that fuels the journey towards enlightenment and all spiritual benefits that occur on the path. During the 12-year period of Brahmacharya, individuals undergo a comprehensive process of self-discipline and inner purification. This period is marked by intense study, meditation, and adherence to strict moral and ethical principles. As practitioners delve deeper into spiritual practice, they gradually transmute their physical energy into mental clarity and spiritual awareness. Ojas, in this context, serves as the subtle essence that sustains and nourishes the practitioner's spiritual journey, leading them towards the ultimate goal of enlightenment. By the culmination of the 12 years, practitioners are believed to have accumulated a reservoir of Ojas that not only enhances their physical well-being, but also facilitates profound spiritual experiences and the realization of the divine within themselves. We are all born into this eternal slumber called Maya. Maya is Sanskrit for illusion, and is the essence of the spiritual problem. I think I am a body, and I identify with the body, but I am actually God, the real me at least, that is. What's that? Blasphemy, you say? Are you a Christian? Then go read the Gospel of Thomas, the only written record of the sayings of the living Jesus, and you will find him to agree 100%. Jesus stated, "The kingdom of heaven is neither here nor there. It is spread upon the earth, and yet men don't see it." In this, Jesus is saying that there is no separate heaven or even hell. Hell is life here in this realm as lived in Maya, in our ego, and separate from God. And heaven is the realization of God within you. Heaven is spread upon the earth in our hearts, and we are born blind to this. The point of the spiritual path is to remove this blindness. It never benefited the church's financial goals to tell you Yeshua's yogic truths. For if you believed that he was different and thus the boss's son, quote unquote, then you wouldn't need the church as much. The goal at this point becomes the spiritual looking within and answering of the eternally divine question of who am I? What's that? You're a Muslim? The Prophet Muhammad said, "He who knows himself knows Allah." The Sufis understand this notion loud and clear. Again, the orthodox establishments of Islam benefit nothing from you knowing that Allah is not separate from you and actually resides in your very heart. As Allah himself stated in the Holy Quran, "I am closer to you than your jugular vein." I can't think of one religion whose uppermost esoteric teachings don't point to this notion of the divine self. True, there is a divide between what I call egoic religions and mystical truth, i.e. the Gnostics of Christianity, the Sufis of Islam, the Kabbalists of Judaism, and so on. But even in the actual texts that the religious establishments adhere to, the mystical teachings are screaming loud and clear. There's no need to convince your mind. I don't want to do that, as it only pushes belief. Belief is merely accepting something on the level of mind to tame your ego. Knowledge comes from practice and experience. Do and experience, and you will have true knowledge for this and for all things. For those who want some logical proof, here it is. This world is not real, and the Maya theory that it is an illusion is true. In order for something to be real, it has to be permanent. And in order for us to have proof of something, we have to be able to experience it for ourselves and it be self-evident. The world is not real because every night when we sleep, this world disappears. For you or I to accept someone else's word that the world was still there when we slept does not suffice, because that is not evidence that you or I can experience. So the world is not real, and I am not real. Or we can say, the body that I inhabit is not real, because that disappears every night as well. The only real thing that persists is the feeling I am. The only thing that I can prove exists is the feeling I am. This is the I am that the Bible spoke of, both before and after Jesus. Before Abraham was, I am. In order to realize the I am and directly experience your true divine nature, you need to break down the egoic structure and also break all chains that bind you to your subtle body, meaning you need to free from all karma, vasanas or desires, and samskaras or tendencies. This all requires penetration of the deepest levels of the mind. This is not an easy process. It takes most forms, many lifetimes of spiritual practice to do this. But there is one practice that can supersede this into a 12-year course, the practice of Akhanda Brahmacharya. Picture your current form as a sort of tripod. You have your consciousness, your gross body, and your subtle body. Your gross body is super temporary and will vanish shortly after death. Your subtle body, or seuxual, is also temporary as it ends on enlightenment, but persists death of the body if the practitioner is not enlightened and carries with it the karmas, vasanas, mind, and samskaras. Your consciousness is eternal, and that eternal self is the real you. In order to liberate from the cycle of birth and death, you have to destroy your karmas, tendencies, and desires. And as stated in the 12-year course of God Mode, if genuinely practiced, you will do just that. First, you will control your body. Then, with some time, you will slowly begin destroying your tendencies and desires and begin to control your mind. Then, with even more time and diligent practice, you will actually have actual conscious control of your energy or prana, and eventually complete control of the body, mind, and energy as the desires, karmas, and tendencies get destroyed for eternity. This all happens as Ojas builds and strengthens within your being. Within around 60 days of God Mode, if one genuinely practices, then Ojas will begin to form and continue to form until around 12 years when the ultimate goal is met. In the beginning, active sublimation of all your sexual impulses can be difficult. For those new to this, it may seem impossible, but so long as you are able to at least restrain yourself physically in the beginning and conduct the sublimation tactics, eventually the need to restrain will go away. It is like the initial temporary torture becomes your bliss, but this is only made possible through active sublimation. And then you realize as the bliss builds that sexual energy is actually divine and has huge potential for things other than sex and procreation. The energy of sex does not only reside in the point of gross semen being released from the body. This is often a misunderstood concept. Actually, before it is released, right when the bubble of a sexual thought or tendency forms in the consciousness, the energy becomes available for transmutation. If you allow yourself to attain a mental state with the sexual thought, the energy of the semen is released. If you cut off the thoughts before you attain a mental state with them, you will send the energy of the semen up the chakra system into the brain, and the more you do this, the more ojas is formed. In the beginning, this is a conscious process as the thoughts attack you constantly, but as you practice and time passes, the process becomes both conscious and subconscious. But the conscious need to fight the urges is less and less with time, and at the very advanced levels of God Mode, subconscious transmutation is occurring all the time. If, on the other hand, you do attain a mental state with the thought, you need to fight that state with more rigorous sadhana to almost wash it from your consciousness. This is because the mental state with the urge you allowed to happen will send the seminal energy downwards from your chakra system as you prepare to release the physical gross semen. The more you advance in the mental state, the more you send the energy downwards until eventually the gross semen is released. The exact opposite happens if you cut the thought or tendency off at the root and transmute. And the opposite action of the mental state is the sublimation and sadhana. And the more advanced the mental state was, the more sadhana is required to fight it. It is important to note that when we speak of seminal energy here, we are not talking about gross semen. The semen carries an energy that is spiritual and persists even if the gross semen is dormant in the system or even absent, as in the case of Urdhva yogis who consciously stop their bodies from even producing the gross seminal fluid. So when we speak of seminal energy rising and falling in the chakras, we are not speaking of actual sperm going up your spine. We are talking about the energy of the semen, the prana. As Swami Shivananda stated, a brahmachari should, without fail, avoid sexual intercourse. If he breaks any of the above rules, he violates the vow of brahmacharya. Though the first 7 kinds of maithuna do not cause the actual loss of semen, yet the semen is separated from the blood and it tries to escape when opportunity arises, either in dreams or in other ways. In the first 7 kinds, man enjoys mentally. Aspirants should not indulge in talk about sex. They should not think about ladies. Bring the image of your Ishta Devata into your mind if the thought of a woman crops up. Repeat the mantra vigorously. As the semen is separated from the blood, as the Swamiji had stated, and is being prepared for gross release of semen, the seminal energy or prana of the semen is sent downwards through the chakra system. And in the reciprocal case, if the gross semen is kept dormant in the blood when thoughts are sublimated, then the prana is sent upwards. As the Swamiji stated, the vital air or prana moves the internal sap or semen. The semen is put into motion. It falls downwards, just as the clouds burst into rainwater, just as fruits, flowers, and leaves of the trees drop down by the force of the blowing winds. So when we talk of semen being directed upwards or downwards in the energetic system, we are talking about the seminal energy or prana part of the semen, not the gross semen itself. And for women doing this practice, every time we say semen, just replace the word semen with ovum. It is a misconception that because we use the word semen retention, that these practices are exclusive to men. But women have the same divine potential within them. As Swami Shivananda noted on this, the female gonads, the ovaries, corresponding to the testes in the males, produce, develop, and mature precious vital force like semen. This is the ovum. Though the woman does not actually lose this out of her body, as in the case of semen in man, yet due to the sexual act, it leaves the ovaries and is taken up in the process of conception to form the embryo. And one knows only too well what a strain and drain on strength childbearing is to a woman. Repeated depletion of this force and the strain of childbirth makes wrecks of healthy ladies and works havoc with their strength, beauty, and grace, as well as their youth and mental power. Eyes lose the luster and sparkle that are indicative of their inner forces. The intense, sensuous excitement of the act shatters the nervous system and causes debility too. Their system more delicate and high-strung, females are often more affected than men. Women should preserve their precious vital force. The ovum and the hormones secreted by the ovaries are very essential for the maximum physical and mental well-being of women. So if you are a woman wondering if this can be done by women as well, rest assured that you stand to benefit the same or even more than men. But you have to engage in the same sublimation tactics. I did videos on sexual transmutation and sexual alchemy where I get into the specifics of those tactics with guided practices as well. I will link those at the end in case you want to delve. But be sure that you need to actively transmute your sexual energies for ojas to form. And when you do this, you also free yourself from the restraint, as you are actually forming an inner bliss that trumps all. I personally don't even want to know what a super long non-ejaculatory streak without sublimation would even be like. I personally probably wouldn't even be able to do it, but even if so, I bet it would be torture. Like your first few weeks on God mode, repeating forever with no end in sight. Don't do that to yourself. If you choose to abstain from sex, you need to not waste the energy. Otherwise, there is no point. Brahmacharya is not about restraint, it is about sublimation, point blank. As you progress on this practice, Ojas will continue to form, and as it continues to form, you will increasingly experience your divine nature. You don't have to directly experience enlightenment to know that there is more to this plane than meets the senses. In fact, the ultimate truth is too much to bear, so enlightenment will come in stages. As the Sufi saint Ibn Arabi put it, the truth is hidden because it is too bright. In this, he is pointing to the fact that your divinity is not something that can be perceived by the senses. Furthermore, he is arguing that you are not able to bear this truth. And from this, it almost logically follows that there will need to be a desensitization of your being that happens in order to experience this truth. This is exactly what happens when Ojas forms. Ojas will separate the boys from the men and the women from the girls, point blank. It is the very ingredient that gives one the supernatural ability to experience their own divinity. You can't see God with your eyes. You have to see God with God's eyes, and Ojas formation allows the practitioner to slowly develop this ability. Ojas is also the ingredient responsible for all other superpowers that you attain on this path. But again, don't take my word for it. Just do and experience and have your own knowledge. Otherwise, you will likely just be entertained here and thinking Akhanda's blowing smoke. But those who have experienced know exactly what I'm talking about. And those who haven't are more than welcome to dabble in Brahmacharya and spiritual sadhana. And I promise that if you are a spiritual aspirant who hasn't done Brahmacharya yet, as I was when I was younger, when you dabble on Brahmacharya, you actually get results and you get them quickly. It's not easy because you have to give up that one thing that no one wants to give up. But then again, when was anything that was truly worth doing easy? And like everything else, it gets easier and better with time. Now, we will get into the Ojas Maximizer guided exercise. We will be doing this with Sirsasana. Sirsasana, commonly known as the yogic headstand, is revered in yoga for its profound physical and mental benefits. This inverted posture has been practiced for centuries and is considered the king of asanas due to its transformative effects on the body and mind. In Sirsasana, the body is completely inverted with the weight supported by the forearms and the crown of the head resting lightly on the ground. Ojas is believed to reside in the head, particularly in the crown chakra or Sahasrara chakra. Furthermore, it is manufactured in the nerve currents of the brain. Through regular practice of Sirsasana, practitioners aim to awaken and harness this vital energy, directing it towards the crown chakra. This process not only strengthens the physical body, but also cultivates mental clarity and spiritual awareness. Furthermore, Sirsasana is closely linked to the practice of Brahmacharya and sexual sublimation. By practicing Sirsasana with mindful awareness and focus, individuals can learn to redirect their energy upwards towards higher states of consciousness rather than dissipating it through external distractions. This redirection of energy aligns with the principles of Brahmacharya, promoting inner harmony and balance. Before attempting Sirsasana, it's essential to seek guidance from a qualified yoga teacher and ensure proper alignment and technique if you don't have it already. Once you have learned proper posture and to do the pose safely, you can incorporate the following guided visualization meditation into your practice. Begin by coming into a comfortable seated position, closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths to center yourself. Allow your awareness to settle into the present moment. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the nose. Visualize a radiant energy at the base of your spine at the root chakra. With each inhale, imagine this energy expanding and intensifying, grounding you firmly to the earth. In through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. As you continue to breathe deeply, visualize this energy rising upwards along your spine, passing through each chakra, from the root chakra to the sacral chakra, to the solar plexus chakra, from the heart chakra to the throat chakra, to the third eye chakra, and up to the crown. In through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. With each breath, feel the energy ascending higher, purifying and harmonizing each chakra along the way. Sense a growing lightness and clarity as you approach the crown of your head. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the nose. When you feel ready, slowly transition into Sirsasana, maintaining a steady breath and focusing your awareness on the crown of your head. As you breathe in, visualize the energy flowing effortlessly from the base of your spine to the crown, illuminating your entire being with a sense of vitality and presence. As you breathe out, picture the energy lighting up your head and its surroundings, in through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the nose. Hold the headstand for a few breaths, allowing yourself to experience the fullness of the posture and the heightened awareness that it brings. In through the nose and out through the nose. As you breathe in, continue to visualize the energy going up to your head on the inhale, and the energy actively lighting up your head and its surroundings on the exhale. Feel the integration of body, mind, and spirit as you remain inverted. When you're ready to release the pose, gently lower your legs back to the ground with control, returning to a seated position. Take a moment to observe any sensations or insights that arise from the practice. Now sit and rest until you feel ready, and we will repeat this one more round. When you feel ready, slowly transition back into Sirsasana, maintaining a steady breath and focusing your awareness on the crown of your head. As you breathe in, visualize the energy flowing effortlessly from the base of your spine to the crown, illuminating your entire being with a sense of vitality and presence. As you breathe out, picture the energy lighting up your head and its surroundings. In through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose and out through the nose. Hold the headstand for a few breaths. Some of you will be able to go a little longer than the first round, and some of you a little shorter. Just listen to your body and come out when it tells you to. Allow yourself to experience the fullness of the posture and the heightened awareness that it brings. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. Continue to visualize the energy going up to your head on the inhale, and the energy actively lighting up your head and its surroundings on the exhale. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, energy going up to the head. Out through the nose, lighting up your head and its surroundings. Feel the integration of body, mind, and spirit as you remain inverted. When you're ready to release the pose, gently lower your legs back to the ground with control, returning to a seated position. Take a moment to observe any sensations or insights that arose from this practice. Now close your practice with gratitude for the experience and a renewed sense of connection to your innermost self. Carry this awareness with you as you continue your journey of self-discovery and growth. Do this practice multiple times a day if you want to supercharge your energy and/or build more ojas. Also important to note, it also builds intellect. I did this practice on my first round of God mode when I was coding a startup application. I would do this practice 4 to 5 times a day on my coding breaks, and it literally gave me genius intellect that allowed me to build software as a newbie coder in 3 months that would have taken a team of seniors a year or so to build. I used this application in job interviews to showcase my work and had to actually stop using it because they didn't believe that I built it myself. So in addition to all the clarity, focus, and bliss that this will bring when done on Akhanda Brahmacharya regularly, it also gives genius intellect. The more you streak on God mode and practice, the more Ojas builds and the more all of these benefits will build. No one will be able to compete with you on this plane if you do this regularly. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all the bells and whistles if you're into my content. I'll see you next time.